Hello, my name is Stephen Redman. Welcome to Pastor's Library. This is the channel where we talk about all things to do with theological books, be they books on a reading list for your bachelor's or master's degree, or for a seminary course, or whether it's just a book that's taken your eye on the bookshelf of a Christian bookshop, or maybe you've seen it advertised on Amazon and want to know more. This is where we try and help you. And if you have any questions about what we've said or any suggestions for future videos, don't hesitate to leave them in the comments below. If you do like what we say, please give us a thumbs up, please subscribe, please click on the bell, and that way you'll be amongst the first to know when we issue a new episode of Pastor's Library. Today I want to talk about favourite commentaries for the Gospel of Matthew. Matthew, I often think, is possibly the commentary that has the least attention. You know, John gets lots of attention. Some of the greatest Christian writers in the world have done a commentary on the Gospel of John. Luke is so distinctive. You know, Luke's the Gospel of the marginalised. There are so many brilliant commentaries on Luke. And of course, Mark, which we believe to have been the first Gospel, the one that every local church had someone who could recite it by rote. And I have to say, here in York, in England, we've got a minister who can recite the Gospel of Mark by rote, and he does a darn good job of it. Mark gets a lot of attention, and I just sometimes feel that we drag Matthew out at Christmas to talk about the Magi and the star, and don't give it a lot of attention the rest of the year. Well, I may be using a hyperbole there, but I do think there are some phenomenal commentaries on the Gospel of Matthew. And today I'd just like to show you some of my favourite ones. And I want to start with the honourable mentions. These are the books that are maybe not in my top three, but they're ones that I like to dip into and I find them helpful. This one is a very reasonably priced one. It's the Abingdon New Testament Commentary on Matthew, written by Donald Sr. This, for a surprisingly competitive price, is one you will really be able to dip into. And for a commentary that was written in 1998, and you know, we think of 1998 as, well, it's only the turn of the century, but we're almost a quarter of a century into the next century. So it's starting to date a little bit, but it's still very, very good. And in its 350 pages or thereabouts, there are some gems for your study. This one, which is a very new one, Ian Boxall's Discovering Matthew. This is much more into the content, the theology, the thinking of Matthew, and I really like this. I really do. I get a lot out of that. The series that I tend to often rave about, the New Beacon Bible Commentary, Robert Snow has done this one on Matthew. This is a very good commentary, not to be sniffed at. And the final one of my honourable mentions is this huge 2 volumes by Frederick Bruner. Now, this is, the two of them together will wedge open a very heavy door. So they are definitely a lot of information to process. And with a total of something like 1,500 pages between the 2 volumes, there is a great amount of detail. Bruner looks at everything and he brings out some absolute choice sweetmeats. He brings out things that other people don't necessarily find. I actually really like this, and over the years I've got quite a lot out of it. So those are my sort of honourable mentions, good ones to consider. I haven't mentioned the Word Biblical Commentary by Hagner. I haven't mentioned the Fortress Hermenia by Luz, which Luz are very good actually. 3 volumes of that, but it's quite expensive. But what I would like to raise with you are my final three, my best three. The New International Commentary on the New Testament, which is an academic book. I mean, it claims to be for pastors, but I think there are some pastors that would struggle with it. But it's an academic commentary. It's very, very, very good. And this is by R.T. France. And R.T. France has a fabulous handle on the Gospel of Matthew. And I could not recommend anything more. It's absolutely classic. It's a really good commentary. And I commend that one to you. Secondly, is the New International Greek Testament Commentary by John Nolland. Now, I am a huge fan of the NIGTC. It's really, really good. The layout's good, the font's good, the paper's very, very white. You know, even if the light's dim, you can still make out the letters in these. It's really good. It's laid out appropriately. It's more of a technical commentary. Obviously, the title gives it away, the New International Greek Testament Commentary. There's a lot of Greek in here. And if you are uncomfortable with having Greek on the page, then you will not particularly choose this as a top one. But I personally feel that even if you aren't fluent with your New Testament Greek, you can make your way through this and get a lot out of it. And I feel that Nolland offers an awful lot for this. Again, though, the NIGTCs tend to be a fairly expensive commentary. My top recommendation for Matthew is something that has really snuck up on me in the last probably 18 months and stolen a top position. I am really quite keen on this. And when I say I'm keen on it, that's because it's written by Craig Keener. And it's a socio-rhetorical commentary. He's used that title with permission from Ben Witherington III. And this is a really long commentary, about 1,040 pages, something like that. But when you start reading this, it doesn't feel burdensome. It's academic. It's got probably a third of every page of footnotes, and the footnotes are technical, and it really has an awful lot to say. But when I started engaging with this book, I really felt it comes alive and it delivers, for me, even more than France and Nolland. And that doesn't mean I don't use them anymore. I do. But possibly because I've only had this about 18 months, it's dropped into my default position because Keener has so much to say that's very, very helpful. And Keener, of course, is a great detail man, especially around the contextual nature of the book. He's very good on context, on detail, on cultural detail. And out of this, it just sort of brings the gospel to life in a very powerful way. So this book, which is, again, a big book, I don't know if it is available in hardback, but I could only get it in paperback here in England. But it is a really excellent volume, and I commend that to you. So my top three recommendations for Matthew commentaries are Keener, Nolland and France. And of my sort of honourable mentions, never forget the New Beacon Bible commentary series. They're competitive. They're all really well written by excellent authors. And there are plenty of other good ones out there now. Don't forget the Discovering Matthew one by Ian Boxall. That's a worthwhile addition to anybody's bookshelf. I hope that's helped you. If it has, please give us thumbs up. Please subscribe and click on the bell, and that way you'll know as soon as we post another Pastor's Library on YouTube. Until next time, bye!